How do lonely people get friends? What has worked for me in the past is to be on the lookout for exceptionally kind and outgoing people. Put yourself out there and try to start a conversation with them. Chances are, even if you're complete ass at making conversation, they'll understand you're trying and will help you out. Even if you don't become friends with them, you learn some great experience in talking to strangers, which is really the #1 skill you need to find friends. Often the really kind and outgoing are also a little strange, but it's their strangeness that makes them so accepting. So look for the mildly odd people. I find modest actors typically fit this category. Not true for the actors who take themselves way too seriously and are super full of themselves though. I'm especially chatty with random strangers. Usually not about me, but about world topics. Once I was standing alone to board a flight and starting talking to this lady. What started as a conversation about why she was flying to location, it ended with a conversation on gun control. It was about 20 minutes of conversation and easily one of my favorite traveling experiences. A similar thing happened when my family flew to Europe when I was younger. We had friends out there to visit. We had a long layover in Heathrow, but not enough to leave the airport, so we were there for a long time. However, my brother and I started talking to a few British teens, we were both teens at the time, about soccer/football, video games, school, and other stuff. They thought our accents were charming. We don't think we have accents, but it was still fun. Dang, I love airports. Your loss for words will lead to the other person thinking you don't want to chat, and they will fade out. Honestly, just saying something about how you love chatting, but you're bad at it can be fine, as long as it's genuine, and you're nice about it. I tell people, oh man, I'm so bad at talking about myself. And we laugh and talk about something else. Not the original poster, but for me, I'd say trying to push yourself a bit past your comfort zone / putting yourself in a place or situation where you might feel slightly vulnerable, even if you're nervous. Doesn't have to be anything big at first, it could just be seeing if there are any local meetups for a hobby of yours, signing up for a class, or getting involved in volunteer work in your community. The point is to keep putting yourself in situations where, even if you might be a bit uncomfortable at first, eventually, hopefully, you'll slowly learn to adapt until you gain self-confidence and they don't scare you anymore. Even if you don't meet an ultimate BFF, you're still meeting lots of people from different walks of life to socialize with, and you'll have at least one thing in common to talk about, since you're both at whatever event for a reason. People skills can sometimes be a matter of practice and exposure as much as anything else, so putting yourself out there is basically forcing yourself to practice. A lot of the comments seem to focus on putting yourself, or thereby just strumming up a conversation with strangers at random. I have doing that. Mostly love it when others do it to me, but I struggle to do it to others. I find that the easiest way to put yourself out there is to find a hobby with a built-in social component. I started going swing dancing in college and had probably my largest social circle then. When I moved to a new city after a few trips to a comic shop, I got into Warhammer 40k and board games. They've been excellent tools for meeting people and making friends. Either put yourself in situations where conversations will be started with you, like below, or look for other people doing the same thing, and if it interests you, start a conversation with them. An example for LA, there are places like the esports arena. They famously do Wednesday night fights there. If you like a fighting game, you go there and play, even if you're not trying to talk to anyone, and people usually start conversations with their opponent / bonus points, if you're pretty good, and attracting attention / hype to yourself. You know when you have something to say, when you're in a group of people talking, but you wait too long to say it? Just say it as soon as it pops in your head, and don't second guess yourself. It might sound stupid, but even if it does, it's just honing a skill. Some people have just been working on it their whole lives and others need a little practice. Just don't say racist stuff or anything super obviously off-putting like that, and you'll be golden eventually. Harder than it sounds, and I should take my own advice more often, but that's the gist of putting yourself out there. Beyond that, all you have to do is find a group of people who are probably like-minded like you. Everyone always says this is the important part, but honestly any group of people that you probably won't disagree with too much is fine. And just remember, while there's a lot of shitty people in the world, most people are nicer than you might think. And the ones that are shitty don't deserve your time, which is a great lesson in self-worth, which if you're the type of introvert I am, is a big deal. Literally expose yourself. Everyone in jail/prison has a story, and everyone is a captive audience. +3 for you, room and board. All the better if you're in a first world country that's not the US. I mean, that's if you don't just land yourself a date. Mentally expose yourself is a good start. Eventually you'll either have a scarred, desiccated heart and will have been taken advantage of many times, or you'll find good people to share your life with, and also will have been taken advantage of many times. Really, you learn as much, if not more from your losses as you do your wins, so don't let anything hold you back. Sign up, show up, stay long enough to say hello to one other person, then run. Come back next week and do it all again. Treat social skills like a muscle. You don't go to the gym expecting to lift the heaviest thing there is. Start small. Compare your progress over time to yourself, not others. Do things that are social that might be pushing your comfort zone. As a personal example, I train for powerlifting. That is a pretty solitary endeavor, but in the effort to make more friends with similar interests, I have volunteered at a couple strength sport competitions. Powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting. I didn't want to do it, and I got pretty anxious about it, but I went. I helped out, and I got to meet some people with similar interests, and I tried to talk to them. No doubt some of them thought I was a weirdo and they don't like me, but a couple might find my brand of quirk interesting, and boom, I have the seed of a new friendship. My most recent new friends all came from strength sports. Get among a group of people who are enjoying a common activity. Having things in common is the best chance of making friends, and doing things in common is a way to achieve that. Join a jail. Walks into jail. 1 membership please. Deputy stares blankly. Bitch. Handcuffs. What if I don't know how to talk to people? Social. Like I'm serious. Listen to podcasts a lot. This helped me immensely, and I was able to formulate sentences and even interject appropriately. A natural flowing conversation is like a dance, and practice is also necessary. You don't. You just collect a whole bunch of hobbies and activities that keep you busy. One can help the other. Play D&D and you have a perfect excuse to make a whole bunch of new friends. Some of them might even be worth keeping. Not the bards though. Fuck those guys. First of all, be comfortable with being friends with yourself. You have to be able to live your life happily by yourself, do what you enjoy, try new things, smile, and be able to find your own company, something that makes you happy. Then while you live life, doing things, trying things, make sure you seem open to other people and approachable, smiling, posture, eye contacts, etc. Also strike conversation. It's not weird to overthink that. Simple as hi, what's the worst that will happen? They'll walk away. If talking hard, make sure what I said about being approachable is key. Most likely if you meet someone doing something you enjoy, or just doing regularly, they will also be interested, and may have similar interest. So if a conversation happens, make sure it's not too forward and uncomfortable, but also make it so it doesn't seem like a passing conversation, but more of a meaningful one. Really just be happy with yourself and create good vibe around you, and don't fear others. Have a nice day and hope you smile. Step 1. Find extrovert. Step 2. Latch onto extrovert. Step 3. Extrovert will inevitably adopt you. Just make sure the extrovert actually likes you and has similar interests. Don't just latch onto the first extrovert you see and become friends. Okay, as someone who is very introverted and has moved a lot but typically manages to find friends, I'm gonna add to this, and hopefully someone else sees it, but there's an important difference. Don't be lonely, which in practice can be hard, but thankfully can be reduced to 2 steps, and the first one involves doing stuff you'd really like to do anyways. The first lesson, be comfortable with yourself. This is the hard part. There's no specific way to do this, but it all boils down to the same thing. Enjoy yourself. As in, your own company. Best way I've found is just do activities that really don't require other people to enjoy. I like to ski, and as much as I enjoy going with friends, at the same time it's really nice when you can wake up when you feel like it, hit all the runs you want, and have a good relaxing break when you want to with no group consensus. But this can apply to any activity, and skiing was definitely not the first one I did this with. When you learn to enjoy activities for the sake of the activity, and not just as a means for hanging out with people, makes a world of difference. You'll really start to enjoy your own company. Step 2. This is the easiest part, but feels the hardest. Take one moment, put yourself out there. All it takes. Ask someone to hang out. Not a general hey, wanna grab a beer sometime? Nope, that's non-committal. Doesn't put you out there. Turn it into, hey, I'm free on Wednesday night. You want to hang out? Yeah, it sucks to make a commitment, and sometimes people will say no. But the nice thing is once they reject you, that's it. Done. They won't think much about you again. Don't get caught up thinking about them. Really have to commit to step 1 correctly first though. If you say hey, I'm going to here to do this on Wednesday, want to join? It makes a big difference if you know you'll do it anyways, because you'll enjoy it alone too. vs if you seem like you're just doing it as an excuse to hang out with someone. That's about it. Just really commit to step 1. Step 2 comes more naturally after that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little video about making friends and new relationships. Stay icy. Peace out.